take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, keep me in the palm of your mighty hands. Father, don't let me fall. False excuses, know you heard them all. Could've ignored me, but you heard my call. And you refused to let your servant fall. You know that really keep on calling. Every now and then I get withdrawals. Man, they hit different when your sins the center of it all. Have you forget about that time you violated laws? And you needed Abba to forgive you, he forgave it all. That's why I pray that you remember me for memories that made you smile and not the ones that made you judge the least. Father, I pray that when you raise up out that judgment seat, that you see it fit for me to reign with you above the beast. But at the least, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, even if I fall, I know he in charge. The great shepherd of the sheep, I know he hear my voice. He gave me life or death for real, I don't deserve a choice. Took all of those things that was against me, then he made it void. I say, yeah, how I shine. Follow me down these wicked roads, don't let that drama slide. Cause it's been written on them scrolls right when they prophesied. And it don't matter how it goes, you never left my side, even though I should've died. Why? But your grace is sufficient. Look how you took my wicked mind and then replaced what's missing. Look how you took my spirit blind and then you gave me vision. Even though I was out of line, I refused to listen. You gave me wisdom. That's why all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah.
Oh man, what the fuck going on, Scooter?
Soldier Yatham, Siren 2, let's get it. When you bought to a lower state, you must learn to be patient. You come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. Who trust the young was misled and not past generations. No one forsaken, you mistaken if you ain't obeying. No lying on no talebearing. Get thee behind me, Satan. That's my brother, no bloodshed. Get thee behind me, Satan. No idolatry, no adultery. Get thee behind me, Satan. I can't deal with my brother false. Get thee behind me, Satan. Seem like a never end the war between flesh and the spirit. I heard that voice say this the way I pray my loved ones hear it. I'm treating sin like it got cooties, don't wanna get near it. If not pertaining to the Father, I'm sorry, I'm fearless. Won't take a left turn all right when it's a narrow path. You keep the law, you get the kingdom, I can simple math. Boast in your house all day on Hamashiach's behalf. Deny the mark of the beast, or drink from the cup of wrath. Keep your spirit pure, practice on fasting and praying. You will say you must multiply your faith and your patience. Love thy neighbor as thyself, don't never betray me. And if you're tempted, pray and say, get thee behind me, Satan. When you bought to a lower state, you must learn to be patient. You come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. Who trust the young was misled and not past generations. No one forsaken, you mistaken if you ain't obeying. No lying on no talebearing. Get thee behind me, Satan. That's my brother, no bloodshed. Get thee behind me, Satan. No idolatry, no adultery. Get thee behind me, Satan. I can't deal with my brother false. Get thee behind me, Satan.
I'ma do it how I love, I got my faculties. In every single precept, make my point to value these. Example, humble me, I'm grounded like what gravel be. We law about in any shirt with fringes, that's my casualty. Revelation say the savior color copper be our own. Hatred kind but front them crackers copper please. Fall balance abomination till God so now obviously. Give you fair warning, don't try that angle, that's our size of lead. Off the muscle, not one to just watch it suffer. Don't be respecting persons, any wise rebuke your brother. Prepare myself for tribulations, that which worketh patience. No thinking about being grimy, get D behind me, Satan. Get D behind me, Satan.
When you brought to a lower state, you must learn to be patient. You come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. Who trusted Yah was misled and not past generations. No one forsaken, you mistaken if you ain't obeying. No lying on no talebearing. Get thee behind me, Satan. That's my brother, no bloodshed. Get thee behind me, Satan. No idolatry, no adultery. Get thee behind me, Satan. I can't deal with my brother false. Get thee behind me, Satan.
Danny Mills Productions.
Above all nations, a brand rooted with our heritage in mind. Featuring the Babylon Has Fallen hoodie, this mighty piece is a bold statement describing the times we're living in. Also perfect for keeping warm while standing firm in your faith. You won't be able to miss the vibrant Song of Solomon tee, inspired by Song of Solomon 1 and 10, a piece that represents our royal heritage that the Most High gave us. Head over to aboveallnations.shop to grab yours now. They're moving fast. That's aboveallnations.shop. Kwame Yashwala. Welcome to Pillars of Rest, where you can find special material for our sisters, by our sisters. This is a Sons of Thunder exclusive platform focused on building, encouraging, uplifting, and engaging with the daughters of Zion. Here you'll find personalized and interactive content geared towards showing what it truly means to be a pillar of rest. Interviews, scripture breakdowns, tips on motherhood, marriage, and testimonials are just the beginning of the many things to learn from and enjoy in this program. The truth, you know. Hey, yo, you recording? You recording? All praises.
It's time to rise up. No more being lazy. Cause when you know the truth, that's when they call you crazy. See, round here, it ain't all gravy. Some people rhyme with scraps, and it's all safety. They say what goes around comes around. I guess that's why some of my enemies don't come around. I speak the truth in every bar, and it's a light in every star. Let's wake up and realize who we are. Why? Because there's blood behind every scar. Look, the Jews were black, it's written in the book. They say you wanna hide something from a black man and put it in the book. Hey, facts. But that's just how it is. It's sad, but that's just how it is. But we get blamed for the way we live, but they never blame the ones that taught it to us. It's just a life cycle, but I'm just trying to be the best, just like Michael. It's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Where I come from, you gotta put away your fears. Only a few wanna see you up, but most people wanna see you down. That's why my smile it turned to a frown. When you a king, you deserve a crown. It's all praises to the Most High. I'ma keep His commandments till I die. I know sometimes we like to ask why, but I learned that you gotta let the Lord work. He do it. I know I'm here for a reason. Damn, they killing for no reason. Yeah, it's been a bloody season. My people constantly fighting demons. See, I appreciate everything. All the love, all the hate, I mean everything. Giving wisdom to my offspring. We laced up like shoestrings. Just putting on for the home team. They'll try to block your shine like sunscreen. They will. Yeah. Hey, don't mind me just giving wisdom to my offsprings. Hey, let's keep the holy days, and stay away from old ways, Let's keep the holy days, and stay away from old ways. Let's keep the holy days, and stay away from old ways. Let's keep the holy days, and stay away from old ways. All praises to the Most High. Sure. It's King. We gotta do the work.
Hey, shalom, Yasha Allah, Ashar Shabbat, Kwam Yasha Allah. We want to first start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Right, y'all see on the screen we have the calendar, right? The new feast day calendar. If you haven't already, you need to make sure you screenshot that or send an email to receive that. For the brothers in the camp, we got a brother, I think Shalimah, he's getting the printout, so make sure you hitting Shalimah up for that as well, so you can put them on your refrigerator. You know, you should already be putting in dates for your Passovers, your trumpets, your tabernacles, your Day of Atonement, right? So you don't have to work them days. You only got a certain amount of days, and most jobs give you off. So those days you should already be putting them in. You should, as soon as the calendar drop, you should, okay, this day I need this, and this off, right? There's no excuses to not have these days off. That's why we released the calendar in the beginning of every year of Esau's calendar, right? So the next new moon we got is in 3 days. I think that's what's a Tuesday. 3 days will be in a Tuesday. That's the 11th month, January 28th, right? January 28th. Then we got February 27th. Then we got Feast of Destruction of Nicanor, Feast of Purim, and then obviously the Passover, right? Coming up, right? April 11th, right? You should be already RSVPing for that. You should already be RSVPing for the Passover. The colors are emerald green or hunter green and gold, right? Emerald green or hunter green, kind of the same color, right? And gold, not lime green, Israel, not that. All right, y'all gonna come to the Passover. Brothers is laughing in the back. Y'all gonna come to the Passover with an extra bright lime green garment in gold. That's not the color, right? The color is emerald green or hunter green and gold. The Passover will be April 11th, right? Coming into the evening, 7:30, 7:45, 8 o'clock, around that time, right? The timing doesn't matter because it's a Friday. April 11th is a Friday, right? So we'll have that Friday Passover. We'll have that Passover camp, right? The 12th, right? The 13th, we might do something with the argument and everybody depart maybe that 13th of the Monday, right? So it's going to be a full weekend, right? Full action-packed event for the Passover. So make sure you already RSVPing so you can get the pricing. You know, special members, y'all have different prices as far as YouTube member, and certain Patreon members, y'all will have exclusive pricing. But for everybody else, make sure you RSVP, right? You'll need a ticket or some kind of link or code to get in. So you will be stopped at the door if you didn't RSVP, right? And you know, pay for your Passover for you and your family, right? The pricing will be discussed in the email. So make sure brothers and sisters is getting ready for that. We got 4 months, really 3 months into the Passover, right? We got 3 months into the Passover. So make sure y'all is ready, tuned in for that, right? April 11th, we gave y'all more than enough time, 4 months, right? April 11th, that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Make sure you're there, all right? And don't be missing on these new moons that's coming up either, right? January 28th, the new moon, right? It's also my birthstone. This brother's going off. He's going off. It's my birthstone. He's going off. Captain Riot, he going into zodiac signs, but yeah, he going off. Cap, we're gonna have to rebuke you on council this Sunday for that one. All right, now the emerald green is gonna be hard though, right? Remember, Yahweh Shah had the garment on, right? What else we got? What other announcements we got? Anything else? Let me look at this real quick. I think that might be it. Man, make sure y'all tune in to our classes too, man. Last night class was crazy. One trying to debate the elder didn't work well. Did not work well. He just couldn't get it. He couldn't get. I mean, it was so plain, but he didn't want to get it, right? And then C4N, man. Make sure you tune into the C4N, right? Every Thursday. Every Thursday, conversation for the nation. Make sure you tapped in and tuned in for that. So, right, we're gonna have a new possible prospect phase starting up. So if you want to join SOT, send an email, right? SOTisraelites@gmail.com. You could take your QR code right there and get you the rest of the links if need be. But if you want to become a member and do this work as with the shirt, right? Sons of Thunder Israelites on it, send an email. Right, same thing for the pillars of rest. Where my pillars of rest in the chat at? Where my pillars of rest in the chat? You want to become a pillars of rest as well, right? Send it to the same email. We'll get you into that prospect phase as well, right? I think that's pretty much all the announcements. So y'all see the title. Y'all see the title of this class. Who is the destroyer of the Gentiles? On the Bar4Bar. Another episode of the Bar4Bar. What episode we on, Aharon?
Gotta be 100.
100. We up there.
No.
We up. All praises, man. All praises. Right. Another
especially
episode.
If we gonna count the pregame.
Yeah, we might gotta bring the pregame back. If y'all haven't
checked that was lit. That podcast style format, it was kind of cool, y'all.
We was interviewing different brothers in different camps and organizations. We had the Hassas on there. We had the priests of Bot. I don't want to leave nobody out. We had elders. We had a lot of
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Oh man, we had a lot of brothers on there, man. Then we did 12 episodes, right? So make sure you go back and tune in. I think that was about 2 years ago, maybe last year. Tune in to the pregame where we was doing a podcast style, interviewing different brothers, asking them questions about the truth, and how they was able to endure this truth, man, because it get tough, man. The scripture says you're gonna have to don't count it strange concerning these fiery trials, right? And a lot of us, a lot of brothers and sisters, you'll go through a fiery trial, and hey, you out of there, right? The Most High has moved your candlestick because you weren't able to endure the heat. So that's something you got to pray for, man, is that you're able to endure these things, right, in these last days, because it's not going to get easy, right? Emerald green is my favorite color. All praises. Right.
And so kind of like how Adawan was saying, hey, look, consider it thankworthy when you do get a trial. Consider it a blessing because you got an opportunity to show the Lord that you're 10 toes down for this thing, or you got an opportunity to learn a lesson so that way you could be a pillar of or a help to someone else. You know what I mean? If maybe they don't have the strength to do that, the Lord might be putting you through something so that way you can be an example. Like Yahweh Shah gave us an example. Man, and speaking of examples, that dude, what was he, Isaac Boston, the dude from Boston? That was a bad example of how to represent what you believe in. Obviously, like he had an idea of how it was going to go, or he had learned of how he should address people, how the Israelites going to be super contentious, and he just wasn't getting met with that energy. And him having to just follow regular orders was sending this man off the scale. You know what I mean? But hey, some people, I guess they got to get it off. That's part of I guess the truth to them is to be a butt.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Of course, the truth was well represented. He cut himself a few times. I was laughing when Ottawa was high-fiving Kaya and stuff in the back. Like, got him. But yeah, if y'all didn't see that, go back and watch that.
And you could tell he really didn't know how to teach his point, right? Because every time it was he taught a point, and then the elder would give him the floor. You teach now. You teach it. And he would just go right to asking questions. So he's not really skilled. He's just a minister of questions. He dotes about with questions, and that's not how you get your point across. You're not he's not a skilled debater yet, right? You just want to ask a whole bunch of questions. Because even if you disagree with us, and this is why this is what I try to teach the brothers. Even if a person disagrees with us, and it's at camp, clubhouse, wherever it is, and they flee because they feel like they cut us or whatever the case may be, you still have to teach the proper understanding, even though they disagree, right? But he wasn't willing to do that. He wasn't willing to teach what Isaiah was actually talking about. He just wants to jump to Matthew. But wait, Isaiah has a point he's making here. And chapter 8 explain that, and he didn't do that. So y'all got to go check it out if y'all didn't watch it. If y'all didn't watch it, go check it out. The sister, Lady Issachar, asked a great question. She said, how do we know to celebrate the feast days that occurred after the Old Testament? Feast of Maccabees happened in the New Testament. Feast of Maccabees will still be considered the Old Testament. Since the New Testament would start with the Gospels of Yahushua, and how it went was Israel would declare it a feast, right? So similar with Purim, the Feast of Nicanor, the Day of Simeon or Simon, and the feast dedications. All those were declared as feasts by our leadership and elder, right? So that's how we would know, and then that would go out into Israel. Or what we're doing, this is why we are doing it too, right? When you talk about Purim, it represents something. When you talk about feast of dedication, it represented something. The destruction of Nicanor represents something. Day of Simeon represents something. So all our feast days represented, a victory. Really, all of those feasts represented a victory that we had over the heathen, Kwam Yashala, right? And then we declared it a feast through the leadership and elders, and it was sent out amongst Israel, right? And you can read that with Peru. You can read that with Feast of Dedications. But brother's got one of them. We can read it real quick for.
All right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, and I'll read 52. Then I'll jump to 59. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning and sacrificed according to the law on the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made. Jumping down to 59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the month Caslu, with myrrh and gladness.
Right.
And then really quick, sis, just to help you understand like how old this really is, this is when we're fighting the Greeks. Now, mind you, there's the Greeks, there's the whole Greco-Roman period, and then there's the beginning of Rome. And by the time the so-called New Testament came in, Rome was still in its height. So we're talking about hundreds of years span. Just even between the Greek and the Greco-Roman period.
Yeah. Good point. So y'all see the title. Who is the destroyer of the Gentiles? I need the chat to answer that. Before we get into this thing. Who is the destroyer of the Gentile? What sayest thou? No, la ada pocket first. Yahushai. Now you all say Yahushai. Elon Ariel said Neb.
Ooh.
Said Yahushai. They don't know who Neb is. I know who Neb is, but the chat may not know. They like there is no character in the Bible called Neb. The heathen. Yahushai. Lady Issachar said Christ. Clayton G said Yahweh and Yahushai. Nebuchadnezzar. Sister, I didn't understand the question. Okay, the question is, who is the destroyer of the Gentiles? Jeremiah 4:7. That's the right scripture. Shalom, by the way, too. Good sister. Anybody else? Hawashai, sister Jahawashai. Yahweh, Yazabah said. All right. Get a few more. So it look like we got about 90, I would say about 99% Yahweh or Yahawashai. Right, as this moment, the Most High. All right, Christ. All right, let's read it. Let's go to Jeremiah 4.
You want me to start at 5 or go straight down to 7?
Lion of Judah, which is Yahushai Shabal, said Yahushai with the hands of Israel, Judah Yahushai. Okay, let's go to Jeremiah 4, and let's start at 5. Yes.
Okay. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, beginning at verse 5. Declare ye in Judah, and publish in Jerusalem, and say, blow ye the trumpet in the land. Cry, gather together, and say, assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defense cities.
All right, let's stop right there. Why do we blow the trumpet? All right, let's get some scriptures on that. Let's get some scriptures. Let's go to Numbers 10, right? Let's go to Numbers 10 and let's read verse 9.
Counter one.
This is gonna be a to declare war, correct. This is gonna be, if you don't like history, this is not the lesson for you. But you should love history because that's what the Bible is, the history book. We're gonna get into some history, we're gonna get into some good archaeology that I have for brothers and sisters as well. Written part of Yahweh, right? And then we're gonna get the precepts and kind of break this thing down, right? Let's read that.
Counter one. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 10 and verse 9.
Read.
If ye go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpet, and ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God. Ye shall be saved from your enemies.
Right? So then the trumpet is alarmed to do what? To set the alarm. Right? To alarm the people. Hey, the oppressor is coming. That's key. That's key in this verse, in this subject that we're talking about. The oppressor is coming. Right? So it said, declare ye in Judah and publish in Jerusalem and say, blow the trumpet in the land. Cry, gather together and say, assemble yourselves and let us go into the defense cities. Why are we going into the defense cities? Right? Give me Jeremiah 1 and 18.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. For behold, I have made thee this day a defense city, and an iron pillar, and a brazen walls against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, against the princes thereof, against the priests thereof, and against the people of the land.
Right? So we got to go into the defense city because understanding what Jeremiah is talking about, he knows what? That something is about to go down. Something is about to go down. So Yahweh is giving Jeremiah a warning. Right? Yahweh is giving Jeremiah a warning. Let's keep reading.
You want Jeremiah 4?
Jeremiah 4,
verse 6. Set up the standard towards Zion. Retire, stay not. For I will bring evil from the north and a great destruction.
Who is the north? Who is the land? What's the land? Who's bringing the evil from the north? Who is that? Who is that? Who's bringing the evil from the north? See what the chat talking about. Elon said Babylonians, the heathen, Nebuchadnezzar. The northern kingdom, Okay. Elon, like, get to the point. Wait. Wait.
Want me to read it?
Wait. He gotta wait. We gotta go through this. Because why? Like read it again. Read verse 6 again. What does it mean to? You don't got to read it. What does it mean to set up the standard towards Zion? Sometimes we just be reading and we don't understand. Like Ariah be saying the Hebrew thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What is the translator trying to convey when it says raise up a standard? It's raise up a flag. You're gonna have to go that way. There is destruction coming. The standard is going to be this way. The flag is going to be set this way. Go that way because the destruction is probably coming from that way. Right?
That's what a watchman does.
Exactly. The watchman is speaking now.
Yeah.
Remember, a war is about to take place. That's why we blew up the trumpet. So it says, "For I will bring evil from the north and a great destruction." So in the chat, we said Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar, the heathen. I got some. Now I had a lot of Yahweh Shai answers, but I don't got that many answers for the north now. Where y'all at? Right. This is going to be active learning.
Come on. Y'all better be taking notes. Where the scribes at?
Right. Let's keep going while they think about that. Verse 7 is the point.
Verse 7. The lion is come up from his thicket.
The who?
The lion is come up from his thicket.
Read.
And the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
And the who?
And the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
And the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. Come on.
He is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate.
You just said what?
He is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate.
He says he is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate. Right? So now let's get into this thing. We're going to break this thing down piece by piece, and we're going to come back and revisit every point from verse 5 to verse 7. Right? So most traditional Israelite teachings say this, that this is Yahweh Shai, right? And a lot of brothers and sisters said it is Yahweh or Yahweh Shai in the chat. Why do brothers say that? Well, let's prove why I think brothers say that. Let's go to Hebrews 5 and I believe 17, or is it 5 and 7, where it talks about Christ being the Lion of Judah. 7 and 14, I believe. That's what I want. No.
Yeah.
That's what I want, right?
Yeah.
7 and 14.
Oh, how he's sprang out of Judah.
Yeah, he sprang out of Judah.
And we know, and then they pair that with because Judah is a lion's whelp.
Yeah, get that too. Get that in Genesis 49.
Yeah.
Let's get that in and let's get it in Revelations 5 and 5 as well.
They're in Revelation.
Yeah, let's get that first.
Conquer one. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 5 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
If one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah.
The what?
The Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Come on.
The root of David.
The what?
The root of David.
Read.
Hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
So there's the correlation. There's the correlation. It says the lion has come out of the thicket, and he's going to be the destroyer of the Gentiles. So Revelation calls Yahweh Shai that Lion of Judah. Let's get into Genesis 49, just a precept.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and 9. I'll start at 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be at the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down and he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
Right. So we know that lion is in accordance with Christ. So there's two scriptures, brothers and sisters, that say, well, look, Jeremiah 4:7 has to be talking about Christ because Christ is that lion. And we know that Christ is coming to the Gentiles. Let's start with that in Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63.
49.
Trying to get that too.
59.
And brothers got to read that.
Which one? Verse you want that one?
Start at. Let me see. Can we just get to the point? Or do I want 50? No, 63 is talking about. Yeah, 63. Read that from the top.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 63, beginning at verse 1.
Bring it out.
Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra?
Come on.
This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
Read.
Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel?
So why is you red in your apparel? We know this is talking about Christ. Come on.
And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
And his garment is like he was treading in the wine press, destroying the nations. Read.
I have trodden the wine press alone.
He said, what? And he said, I have trodden the wine press alone. I ain't need no help. Read.
And of the people there was none with me.
Come on.
For I will tread them in mine anger.
And the people he's going to tread, he's going to destroy the Gentiles. Gentile, we know just means nation. That word will be goy. He's going to destroy the nations. Read.
And trample them in my fury.
And do what?
And trample them in my fury.
He's going to trample them in his fury. Read.
And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments.
And the blood is going to be. Come on.
And I will stain all my raiment.
And he's going to stain his. That's a crazy prophecy of Christ.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, dipped in blood. Right. Let's get it. Let's get it in Psalms 2 and 8.
It's like precept. I don't want.
Bring it out.
Just wanted to grab this also in Revelation 19 real quick, just to show why exactly it is that we say that this correlates with Christ. The book of Revelation, chapter 19, beginning at verse. I'm going to start off at verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and his head were on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
His name is called the Word of God. That's heavy. That's logos as well. Read.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nation.
He's going to do what?
He should smite the nations.
With it, he's going to smite the nations. When you receive the Jehovah's Witness, they got a sword coming out of Christ's mouth. He's running around swinging it. No, that's not what it's talking about, man. Right? When it says he's called the Word of God, man, he's coming to fulfill the purpose of God. The sword coming out of his mouth. My words are like fire, and the people are like wood to burn them up.
Counter one.
It's prophetic speech, right? But he's going to come destroy the nations, right? So that's the corollary. Let's stay in Revelation since we're here. Let's stay in Revelation since we're already here. Give me Revelation 6 and 15. I'm going to get a couple precepts to show why Christ is called or can be called the destroyer of the nations. Give me Revelation 6 and 15.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, beginning at verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Because the wrath of the Lamb is coming.
Right.
It's coming to destroy the nations. And that's a distinct correlation between him that sits on the throne and the Lamb. Why would the Lamb be on Yahweh? It don't make no sense. Trinitarians, it just don't make no sense. Excuse me. Haran, you had a precept too, right?
Con. And then if we look at, Revelation 9 and 16, right? Because we talking about how Christ said, listen, in my kingdom, if this wasn't my kingdom, we will fight, right? So give me that.
You said if this was my kingdom, I would fight.
No, in Revelation 9 and 16. Because listen, he's coming heavy. He's coming heavy with a bunch of angels to do his bidding, right?
That's right.
Go ahead, give me that.
Revelation 19 and 16.
9 and 16.
Bring that out.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them.
You see?
And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions.
So you see,
out of them.
So real quick, so you see, that's an army coming. It's an army coming to destroy. Right. 200,000, 200 million angels are coming to destroy, right? So we know, it's really is honestly all over, right? But real quick, let me get Isaiah 59, right? And we can start at 17.
Connor 1. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, and verse 17. For he put on a righteousness as a breastplate, and an helmet of salvation upon his head. And he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing, and was clad with zeal as a cloak.
So we know that this is what the armor of God that's talked about in like Ephesians 6 and 1 Thessalonians, right? But the purpose, look, when he's coming, he got garments of vengeance, okay? Because vengeance is about to be rendered, right? Keep going.
Connor 1. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay. Fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies.
So you see, we see that those enemies of the Lord are going to get vengeance put upon them. His fury is going to be poured out. You understand? So we know that this is coming, right? Now keep going.
Connor 1. To the islands he will repay recompense. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. Where the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him.
Right. Read this last one. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Lord.
Now we know, like, this is what's talked about, and like Nakai was trying real quick. Can you get Revelation 11 and 26? because we know, hey, this is Yahweh Shai. This is the time that it's talked about. Get that in Revelation to just make the connection for people.
It's at a Revelation 11 and 26. It's no 26 and 11.
I mean, I said I meant Romans. I'm sorry.
I'll slide.
Romans 11:26.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 11, beginning at verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
So you see, that's exactly what it's talking about here. And which, listen, whenever you're bringing out Romans 11, you can go to 26. That is the point for all of Israel to be saved, right? And transgression to cease. Because look, and we know that Yahweh Shai is saving us from our enemies. Okay, we know this. Matthew 1:21, Luke 1:68. Yahweh Shai is coming to save. So that's why people automatically go and say, you know what, this is Yahweh Shai to destroy the Gentiles, because there is going to be a portion in the period where Yahweh Shai is doing just that, slaying those enemies. That's why even where's that Yahweh Shai said, listen, those mine enemies that don't want me to serve over them, bring them before me and slay them.
I can find that. Say 19:27.
Go ahead. If you got it, pull it.
Bring that out.
Counter one. This is the book of Luke, chapter 19 and verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
That's right.
You understand? So Yahweh Shai is very much coming with get down or lay down spirit.
That's right.
So
it's
easy to see that.
Right. So now let's go back to Jeremiah, right? Because I think when brothers and sisters hear that correlation is like, that makes absolutely sense, right? And it does to me, right? However, when we look at the context, of Jeremiah, especially just the first 4 chapters in general, it's making the same point. The context of Jeremiah 4 and 7 is not speaking specifically of Yahweh Shai. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Jeremiah 4 and 7 is not. Let's read it again for the people so they know where we at.
This is the book of Jeremiah. Yo, you want to start back up at 5?
Start at 7 real quick.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 7. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
So we made the correlation. The Lion of Judah, right, makes a lot of sense. The destroyer of the Gentile, we know Christ is coming to destroy these nations. It makes absolutely sense for this to be speaking of Christ. But the context of which Jeremiah is speaking of specifically is not speaking of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, right? Is Christ a destroyer of the Gentiles? Absolutely. Is Christ the Lion of Judah? Absolutely. However, Jeremiah is not specifically talking about Christ, even though these titles can be attributed to Christ.
Right.
Does that make sense to everybody in the chat? We're going to break it down because y'all like, wait a minute, you just did that whole sermon on how it is Yahweh Shai. He is the Lion, he is the destroyer of the Gentiles, but then you went back and read it and you said he wasn't. Prove that, Yahweh. Prove that, brothers on the panel. Right, and that's what we're going to do. Right? That's what we're going to do. Right? So, yes, Christ, I'm going to say it again. Christ is a lion. He is the Lion of Judah. Title. Yes, Christ is a destroyer of the Gentiles. Title. But Jeremiah is not speaking of Yahweh Shai in this verse. Right? Let's go back to verse 5.
Count that one. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, now at verse 5. Declare ye in Judah and publish in Jerusalem and say, blow ye the trumpet in the land, cry, gather together, and say, assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defense cities.
Stop right there. Why are we doing that? You got to go back and read. You got to go back and read. Go to Jeremiah 1, and we're going to start at verse 14.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter.
Bring it up.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, beginning at verse 14. Then Yahweh said unto me, out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land.
Right, so a lot of people might read this and say, see, that's Babylon the Great. You got to read you got to be within the context, though. You got to be within the context. It's going to tell us we're going to see who's going to come out of the north. Come on.
Out of the north, an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north.
Read.
Saith Yahweh. And they shall come, and they shall set everyone his throne at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem.
They're going to set their thrones at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem. Look how disrespectful that is.
Right.
They're going to come into our homeland and set up shop, set up their thrones at the gates of the city. Nigga, what's up? This got it? What's up? We here. And we deep too. We deep too.
That's right.
And we know when we going off, Yahweh is not with us to fight. So there's not much we can do. But who is this that's coming from that north? Keep reading.
And against all the walls thereof round about, and against all the cities of Judah.
Come on.
And I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me.
Right. So
and
now
have burned incense.
Go ahead.
And have burned incense unto other gods, and worship the works of their own hands.
Right. So we know this is specifically talking about Jeremiah's time. If you just read Jeremiah 1, is he talking about in this moment what he's speaking of right now? Right. So let's go back. Let's go back. Go ahead.
That key point in 16, it says, and I will utter my judgments against them. This, what you're about to see, to keep in mind, this is a judgment coming from the Lord. It's a judgment. It's a punishment. You know? Keep going.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Jeremiah 4. Read where you left off at.
Back in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, still at verse 6. Set up the standard toward Zion. Retire. Stay not. For I will bring evil from the north.
He's going to do what?
And a great bring evil from the north.
He's going to bring an evil from the north. It's the same thing. It's the same north he's talked about in Jeremiah 1. Who is this evil that's coming from the north? Let's get it. Ezekiel 26 and 7. Let's start with Ezekiel first.
Chapter 1. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 26 and verse 7. For thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will bring upon Tyrus Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, a king of kings from the north.
From where?
From the north.
From the north. Read.
Chapter 1. With horses, and with chariots, and with horsemen, and with companies, and much people.
He's going to come with horses, companies, chariots, and much people. This is who's coming from the north to tear us up.
Yeah.
This prophecy that who is the destroyer of the Gentile or the destroyer of the Gentiles is very specific to an individual. And we know as the prophecy says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, came from the north. Let's stay in here. Let's go back to Jeremiah now. And let's get Jeremiah
25.
Let's read verse 8.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, can I start at 7?
Yep.
All right. Ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, because you have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant.
Wait a minute. What did that just say? The king of Babylon, who?
My servant.
So now Yahweh is calling Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. Why, chat? This is how we read. Why? Wait a minute. Why did he just say that? Why is Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the north, called Yahweh's servant? Let's go to Proverbs and see. Stay with us. We haven't even got all the way there yet. We still in the beginning. Stay with us. Somebody said Elon says Psalm 17 and 3. Let's get that for him. But let's get the Proverbs
13.
first. 17, 13.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. That's why every king that was ever set up is Yahweh's servant. Why? Because he controls them. Yahweh set them up to do his service. What was Nebuchadnezzar's service? To destroy Israel. Read on, Cap.
As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will.
He does what?
He turneth whatsoever he will.
Turns it whithersoever he wants. If he want Nebuchadnezzar to be built up and be this great God or this great king during his era, he'll do that just to do what? Destroy him.
That's right.
Just
to do what? Destroy him. Go ahead, Cap.
Hey, we got other examples of this. Remember the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart?
Yep.
To put us in the worst predicament. Why? So he could tear him up. Guess what? You know, Gog, the Lord said, he said, I'm gonna put hooks in his jaws. We're gonna make them war. You understand? That's why, look, the man's going is of the Lord, because you got to understand, that's why he is the Almighty God. He is in control of everything.
That's right.
You understand? You getting that 17 to 13 that the brother asked for?
Yeah, get that for real quick.
Counted one, I'm there. The book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, whose bed thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave their rest of their substance to their babes.
Right, so hey, the portion of men's life is here. So whoever Yahweh want to set up, he can set up. All right, let's go back to Jeremiah now.
Hey, so like real quick. That was a perfect precept. Just because I'm writing the precept down, I want to read it. I'm about to precept y'all Bibles. So a good one with Psalm 17 and 13 is that Zechariah 13 and 7, when he says that the men are his sword, right? And he said that in Psalms. Now look at what he's telling his sword in Zechariah chapter 13. It says, awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith the Lord of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. So you see, he's telling his sword, get up and go punish.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Simple. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Jeremiah 25.
Okay. You want me to start at 9 again?
Yep.
Okay. This the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, and verse 9. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar.
Look at one of the pillars of rest with the precept, though. That's the right scripture. The sister got the right. Here's another example. That's the right scripture.
Right.
Read that on the screen. Shout out to the pillars of rest, man. Studying the Bible, man.
Hey, shout out to the scribe department.
Go
ahead, sis.
Read that on the screen, Nassim.
Counter to one. Another example. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation.
Assyria was used to destroy the northern kingdom. He was the rod of the Most High's anger. He was at that time, he was the servant of Yahweh. And guess what happened? He got brought low too.
Yeah.
All right. So it all correlates how the Most High uses other nations just to punish us, or like we say in the world, belt to behind. The other nations are belt to behind for us. They just come to whoop us up real quick. And then once we cry enough and we repent, Yahweh, through his mercy and covenant through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, comes and saves us. That's all we got. Right? Let's go back to Jeremiah 25:9. Let's finish that out.
Good. All right. Oh, shoot. I accidentally dropped it. Here we go. All right, 25:9. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land and against the inhabitants thereof.
Now y'all understand why Jeremiah 4 is saying declare, blow the trumpet, set a standard. Matter of fact, go to the defense cities, because Jeremiah, it was already warned they're coming. And now it's Jeremiah's job to tell you this is who's coming. Read on.
Right. And against all the nations round about, and will utterly destroy them.
He will utterly do what?
And utterly destroy them.
So Nebuchadnezzar will utterly destroy Israel and all the nations round about, the destroyer of the Gentiles.
God.
Is more on that?
Another one. Yeah, roundabout, and will utterly destroy them and make them an astonishment and a hissing and perpetual desolations.
Come on.
Right. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of myrrh and the voice of gladness and the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride and the sound of the milestone as the light of the candle.
Now watch this. Jump to, now we could read it all, right? But if you jump to verse like 19, it tells you every nation that Nebuchadnezzar is about to destroy. The land of Uz, Egypt, the Philistines, Ashkelon, Azar, Ekron, Ashdod, Edom, Moab, Ammon, Tyre, Zidon, Dedan, Timon, Buz, Arabia, Elam, Medes. What do you want me? Do you want me to read off every nation? Oh, I basically did, really. These are all the nations that Nebuchadnezzar is about to destroy. And his fierceness was explained in other books. Let's get Habakkuk and show that. Let's get the fierceness of Nebuchadnezzar. Get Habakkuk, what was it, 1? And then get because I want to show y'all how he destroyed Israel too. Nassim, get 2 Kings 25:9.
And then after that, there's 2 more still in this chapter to give a little bit more understanding.
Yeah, it's more. We still got to go back to verse 4 or chapter 4. Habakkuk 1:5-6. Read that.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, beginning at verse 5. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard, and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days, which will which ye will not believe, though it be told you. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans.
The Chaldeans are the Babylonians. It's another name. You see old Chaldeans, that's talking about the Babylonians. Read.
That's right. That bitter and hasty nation.
It's a bitter and hasty nation. Read.
Which shall march through the breadth of the land.
He's going to march through the land. Come on.
To possess the dwelling places that are not theirs.
He's coming to possess the dwelling places that's not his. That's why Jeremiah 1 said he's going to set up his thrones at the gates of your city. That's why it says that. This is a cruel and evil people. Show what he did in 2 Kings real quick. All right? It's more than that, nothing? I mean, the Kawasha? Okay, go ahead. Read the 2 Kings.
Chapter 1. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 25. You said beginning of verse 9. Chapter 1. It reads, And he burnt the house of the Lord in the king's house, in all the houses of Jerusalem.
Can you find who we're talking about? Because I'm not looking at it. Who is the he that did it? Where you at? 25.
8.
Yeah, read 8.
Chapter 1. Beginning at verse 8. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, to Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of the Lord, in the king's house, in all the houses of Jerusalem, in every man's house, it's like in every great man's house, burnt he with fire.
Come on.
In all the army of the Chaldees that were with the captain of the guard, break down the walls of Jerusalem round about.
That's why he said that. That's why he said he's coming to set his throne in Jerusalem. He came to break it down. Read on.
Chapter 1. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away.
He carried them away captive to Babylon. This is the starting of the Babylonian captivity. Jeremiah's, how do I want to put this? Most of Jeremiah's prophecy is talking about the start and the destruction of the Babylonian captivity when you read it in its context. When you read it in its context, that's what Jeremiah is talking about. The destruction, the start, and then, there's some prophecy, end time prophecy in there as well, because he's just a mighty prophet that he was able to endure that from the Lord. Right, but you got to understand that. So now let's go back to Jeremiah 4 real quick, and then we're going to get some more. Jeremiah 4. So that's that we just showed the city of the north, right? That destroyer that's coming from the north, that evil that's coming from the north. Verse 7.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 7. The lion is come up from his thicket.
All right, now you might say, all right, Yaakov, all right. You get all that north talk. That we still think that's Babylon. Right? We still think that's Babylon the Great, right? However, he ain't called no lion. Nebuchadnezzar ain't no lion. That's specifically for Christ. But lion just means something.
That's right.
It just means something. It's talking about the fierceness, right? It's talking about the rulership and kingdomship that a lion holds. He's a destroyer like a lion. He's coming out of his thicket. Oh, he was hunting. He was down low. He was crouching. Now he came out of his thicket. You see him now. You're afraid. Let's prove that. Let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 17.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 17. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away.
What did it say?
The lions have driven him away.
So Israel is the scattered sheep, and the lions with an S have driven him away. These are the lions, or the lion that's come out of his thicket. Read.
First, the king of Assyria had devoured him.
Read.
And last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath broken his bones.
That's the two lions: Assyria for the northern kingdom and Nebuchadnezzar for the southern kingdom.
Yeah.
Jump to verse 23. Watch this.
Verse 23.
Start at 22.
Verse 22. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction.
Come on.
How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Did Nebuchadnezzar really cut asunder the whole earth? It's metaphoric speech. Read.
How is Babylon become a desolation amongst the nations?
Now he's become a desolation amongst the nation. So see how he calls them a lion, but he also talks about him gonna be a desolation to the nations, right? Because he's going to be brought down in the prophecy. When you get into the later chapters of Jeremiah, he's showing you how Babylon will now be destroyed. Babylon is going to serve its judgment. Yes, Satan.
That's right there in Jeremiah 25 and 11 and 12.
Bring that out. Bring it out if you need to.
All right. It says, and this whole verse 11, and this whole land should be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
That's right.
And it shall come to pass that when that 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon.
That's right.
And that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it a perpetual desolation. So you see, listen, even they got a time limit because they got a purpose to be the punishment.
That's right.
And when that punishment is complete, now they got to pay.
That's right. Let's get excellent point. Let's get Daniel 7. Let's get Daniel 7. All right, 7 and 2. Just another scripture showing how Nebuchadnezzar or the Babylonian kingdom is described as a lion. Daniel 7. And you can start at the top, really.
This is go ahead, Nassim.
Got it one.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, beginning at verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea.
Come on.
And four great beasts came up from the sea,
four
diverse
great beasts,
one from another.
If you pay attention in the Feast of Dedication lessons, you get to understand this stuff, man. Read.
Yeah. The first was like a lion.
The first was what?
The first was like a lion.
Who knows who the first beast is that Daniel's speaking of? Who is the first beast that Daniel is speaking of? You got to go read Daniel. You got to notice. Who is the first beast Daniel is speaking of? Babylon. Exactly. Read on.
And had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to it.
Right, so there you have the first king, the first beast that it describes is who? The Babylonians. And he's described as a what? A lion and an eagle. So that's why the title of the term of the lion is coming out of his thicket. It's not necessarily a title for someone, right? That's just a phrase used to describe, something fierce is about to come. Right, it was crouched down, hiding. Now it's coming up, and the hunt is on. That's all that means. Right. Let's go back to Jeremiah. Let's go back to Jeremiah 4.
Quick precept.
Go ahead, King.
We grab Proverbs 30 and 30.
Bring that out.
Counter one. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 30 and verse 30. A lion. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start off at verse 29. There be three things which go well, yea, four are comely in going. A lion which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any. Just a quick example of what a lion actually represents and the kind of force that the Most High is explaining that the king of Babylon would have. Like, of course, we understand that the Most High, he speaks through parables and similitudes through his service, the prophets. So he's likening the king of Babylon to a lion because, A, he's going to conquer every last one of these nations, like we was reading about in Jeremiah 25. I know y'all don't have a point.
That's right. That's right. Excellent point. Right. The second beast, no, would not be Assyria. I believe that is the Greeks. I believe so. Let me look at it though. Let's go back to that. We can read that and break that down. Let's go back to Daniel 7. Read verse 2 again.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, back at verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea.
Mm-hmm.
And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings.
Mm-hmm.
I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And a man's heart was given to it.
Right. So we understand that that's talking about Babylon. Come on.
And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear.
Read.
And it raised itself on one side.
And it was raised on one side. That one side represents what? The Persian and Mede captivity. The Medo-Persian. I said the Greeks, but that's the Medo-Persian because I wasn't looking at it. But that's the Medo-Persian captivity. That's who that it goes actually in order. It would have been Assyria first, but you have Assyria, Babylon, Persian and Medes, Greeks, Romans, right? That's your order, right? So you got the Medo-Persian Empire. Come on.
And it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
And that's the destroying of the Babylonians. Read.
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard.
Right? We know who that is. That's going into the Greeks. Read.
Which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast also 4 heads.
And the beast
and
also
dominion.
4 heads, talking about the Diadochi, right? The 4 generals of Alexander the Great, right? So that's your Daniel 7. Just a quick breakdown. We didn't go deep into it, but that's a quick breakdown of the different nations, right? So let's go back. Jeremiah 4.
Found that one. Back in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, still at verse 7. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
And the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. Watch this. Jeremiah 27 and 6. Watch what Jeremiah 27 and 6 says.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 27 and verse 6. And now have I given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar.
He's giving because he conquered all the lands. He's giving all the lands to the king of Nebuchadnezzar. Read.
King of Babylon. My servant and the beasts of the field have I given him also to serve him.
And he's giving everything to serve the king of Babylon. He was the one that destroyed the nations, right? Specifically Israel. When you read, when it talks about raise it, even to the foundation thereof, that's the Babylonians destroying Israel, but also the Edomites helping.
All right.
You can get that in First Ezra. Right? You said Salaki Cap?
No. Do you want me to keep going?
It's more on it?
We're just talking about how they're gonna serve him. Just going back with that 70 years.
You could drop that. It's another point I want to make. Let me get this precept real quick. Go to Jeremiah. Go to Jeremiah 34:7. Watch this.
Counter one. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 34, verse 7.
I also said to go to the defense cities. We're going to talk about these defense cities real quick. This was about to get real interesting. Read this.
And it reads, when the king of Babylon's army fought against Jerusalem and against all the cities of Judah that were left, against Lachish and against Azekah, for these defense cities are remained of the cities of Judah.
Right, so these are the defense cities. Lachish and what's the other one you read? Zakah, right? Who knows the significance of Lachish? Who knows the significance of this city? Anybody in the chat? Does anybody know the significance of this defense city? If not, we're going to get it, obviously. Now we're going to get into the history part of this lesson. Brother's looking it up. What's looking? What is that? Lachish. Sorry. Brother's looking up. Don't be cheating. All right? Don't be cheating. We're going to show y'all. All right, we're going to show y'all. All right, let's get it. I don't see nobody in the chat. Brothers and sisters may not know. Are we going to get into some archaeology here? This is a beautiful find that Yahweh showed me, man. I was going through a rabbit hole when he showed me this. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Can y'all see that? Obviously, this is just Wikipedia.
It's coming up. There we go.
All right, Nakawasha, read this for me really quick.
The Lachish letters are a series of letters written in carbon ink containing ancient Israelite inscriptions in ancient Hebrew on clay ostraca. The letters were discovered at the excavations at Lachish, or Tel de Duwer. The ostraca were discovered by British archaeologist James Leslie Starkey in January through February 1935. During the third campaign of the Welcome excavations, they were published in 1938 by Professor Harry Torzi.
Where you at? That's fine.
Name later changed to.
That's fine. Go ahead.
And have been much studied since then. 17 of them are currently located in a British museum in London.
So 17 of these inscriptions are located in the British Museum in London. Come on.
A smaller number, including letter 6, are on a permanent display at the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem.
Very interesting. Why is it in the Rockefeller Museum? Why is it there? That's a top museum of the world now. Right. Now, the good thing about this on Wikipedia, guess what it did for us, Akim and Aqua, the brothers and sisters? It gave us what each one of these letters say. These are right here. Right? So that's why I asked y'all, what is the importance of this defense city? Is that there's ancient archaeology that was found concerning this city. And we're going to read an inscription that basically talks about what we just read in Jeremiah specifically. Watch. Let's just read the first. We'll read a couple of them. So this is what this one says, right? First one. That was really just names. You can see that. That's just names. Son of, right? Let's read letter number 2.
To my Lord, Yahush, may Yahweh cause my Lord to hear tidings of peace today, this very day, who is your servant, a dog, that my Lord remembered his servant. May Yahweh make known to my Lord a matter of which you do not know.
Right. So when they have these parentheses, the question marks, it was some inscriptions that they weren't able to see. So from the letters that they could see, they had to make out what they thought it said. Right. Remember, these is ancient letters. These letters we're gonna show it dating back to the time of Jeremiah. Right. This is a good one. Let's read this.
Your servant Hoshaiah sent to inform my Lord Yahush. May Yahweh cause my Lord to hear tidings of peace and tidings of good. And now open the ear of your servant concerning the letter which you sent to your servant last evening, because the heart of your servant is ill, since you're sending it to your servant. Inasmuch as my Lord said, don't you know how to read a letter? As Yahweh lives, if anyone has ever tried to read me a letter, and as for every letter that comes to me, if I read it, and furthermore, I will grant it as nothing.
Right.
And to your servant, it has been reported, saying that the commander of the army, Kaniah, son of El-Natan, has gone down to go to Egypt. And he sent to the commander, Hodaviah, the son of Ahijah, and his men from here.
So let's stop
right for the letter.
So let's stop right there. So it says the commander of the army, Kaniah, son of El-Natan, has gone down to go to Egypt and sent his commander, right? So now, let's go to Jeremiah real quick. Let me show y'all something. Let me show you what the scholars are trying to correlate here. Jeremiah 26. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 26, and let's start at 20. There's much debate on this topic here, but let's read this.
Start at verse 20, you said?
Yep.
Start one. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 26 and verse 20. And there was also a man that prophesied in the name of the Lord, Uriah, the son of Shemaiah of Kirath-Jearim, who prophesied against this city and against this land according to all the words of Jeremiah. And when Jehoiakim, the king, and all his mighty men, and all the princes heard his words, the king sought to put him to death. But when Uriah heard it, he was afraid and fled and went into Egypt.
Right. So now when we read this, the finishing this excerpt, what the scholars are trying to say is they possibly think this is what this excerpt is talking about, because there was a prophet mentioned, but it doesn't say which one. But in Jeremiah, it's describing a prophet that did indeed run off to Egypt. And Jeremiah had to, when you further read it, Jeremiah went back and got him. When you finish Jeremiah 26 out, Jeremiah went back and got him and brought him back, right? However, when I looked into it, because obviously you just can't take this for face value, like, oh wow, look at this great discovery. And I had to really look into it. And they're saying that Jeremiah's time frame and this time frame wouldn't necessarily match up king to king, right? And that's another study we can get into later. So it's not 100%, but it's a possibility, right, that this may correlate. But we know, even if Jeremiah 26 is not talking about that, we know during the time of different captivity, especially the Babylonian and the Assyrian captivity, and even the Greek captivity, we was fleeing into Egypt for succor, for safety. So we know this is something that we actually did as a people. Let's finish it up. You can start right here.
And as for the letter of Tobiah, the servant of the king, which came to Shallum, the son of Jaddua, from the prophet, saying, be on guard. Your servant is sending it to my Lord.
Right. So they're saying this is what the prophet said. Now read the note of what the scholars think.
This ostracon is approximately 15 centimeters tall by 11 centimeters wide and contains 21 lines of writing. The front side has lines 1 through 16. The back side has lines 17 through 21. This ostracon is particularly interesting because of its mentions of Kanyahu, who has gone down to Egypt, and the prophet. For possible biblical connections, according to Torzanier, reference Jeremiah 26, 20 through 23.
Right, that's what we just read. So some scholars say that it's referencing this point, but when you look at the time periods, it's not necessarily the same time period. But we can see, even in Ezekiel, we can see brothers and sisters fleeing into Egypt, right, to get away from the persecution of the Assyrians and also the Babylonians. That's why there's scriptures you made Assyria your God, or the uncircumcision of the Egypt. Syria, listen to me. Egyptians and all these other different nations, right? When we get into it. But I want to read this one, right? Because this one is specific to what we're talking about. Let's read letter 4.
May Yahweh cause my Lord to hear this very day tidings of good. And now, according to everything which my Lord has sent, this has your servant done. I wrote on the sheet according to everything which you sent to me. And inasmuch as my Lord sent to me concerning the matter of Bet Harapid, there is no one there. And as for Samakiah,
so as for the matter of Bet Harapid, right, there is no one there. There's no one in this place. Come on.
And as for Samakiah, Shemaiah took him and brought him up to the city. And your servant is not sending him there anymore. But when morning comes around, and may my Lord be apprised that we are watching for the fire signals of Lachish.
Watch this. I'm gonna stop. Let me stop it real quick, right? What does it mean they're looking for the fire signals of Lachish, right? Or Lachish, right? What does that mean? Go to Jeremiah 6:1, Nassim. There was something we were doing in Israel why this says this. 6:1.
Counter 1. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 1. Ye children of Benjamin, gather yourselves to flee out of the midst of Jerusalem, and blow the trumpet in Tekoa, and set up a sign of fire.
What?
And set up a sign of fire.
So they set up signs of fire. So after the battles happened, to see if the city was still there, they'll put a sign of fire or make a sign to show, okay, we still here. But this excerpt is saying that there was no sign, there was no fire. They were watching for it, and it never came from Lachish. Read that part one more time, Officer Nakawasha, right here.
Salakia. And may my Lord be apprised that we are watching for the fire signals of Lachish, according to all the signs which my Lord has given.
That directly goes with that directly goes with Jeremiah 6, and then it says what? Because what?
Because we cannot see Ezekiel.
Ezekiel is the same city we just read about in Jeremiah, right? That I had not seen. We're gonna go back to that where we first left off with Lachish, right? So they said they're waiting for the signs of Lachish, but we cannot see the signs of Ezekiel. Let's go back to Jeremiah, right? 34:7.
Counter 1. This is Jeremiah chapter 34 and verse 7. When the king of Babylon's army fought against Jerusalem and against all the cities of Judah that were left, against Lachish and against Ezekiel.
That's the same city. So now this excerpt shows that Ezekiel was actually destroyed. And they're waiting to see the fire signals from Lachish, but we know that Lachish was destroyed as well. Right? Go to Micah 1:13.
encounter one. It's the book of Micah, chapter 1 and verse 13. And it reads, O thou inhabitant of Lachish, bind the chariot to the swift beast. She is the beginning of the sin of to the daughter of Zion. The transgressions of Israel were found in thee.
Right, for the transgressions of Israel was found in Lachish. So we know that this city had to be destroyed as well, because we know that the destruction of the Babylonian and Assyrians came because of the wickedness of our people.
Yeah,
this was just something I found concerning the destruction of the Babylonians. Right, they got letter 5, letter 6. That I ain't gonna say I found it. The Most High showed me letter 10, letter 9. Right, I think that's all it has. And then here are all the sources, obviously, from Wikipedia that you can go to, the British Museum. Right, you could probably see what they actually look like. Right, here's just a small depiction. It's crazy. How can they even read that? Right. Let's look at the one we was looking at right here. Right, those words look a little bit. You can make those out a little bit. Right. Someone that's looking with a magnifying glass, they looking, cleaning it up, right? Finding different words and piecing them together. That's really what they're doing when they find this ancient archaeology, right? So this is just another source, right, that shows just ancient archaeology of our people, and it lining up specifically with the prophecy. Like you could already see that Lachish, it wasn't gonna make it because of our wickedness. It was not gonna make it. And then our other city, they said there was no sign of fire.
Yeah, the account was over with. It's like, can you put that link in the chat?
Oh, we're not sharing the link here. We're not doing that. We're not sharing the link. All right. That was just for me. Y'all showed that just for me. Y'all brothers go find y'all own. Hold on, let me put it in the link real quick. I'll put it in the chat too. Hold on real quick. Let me bring that back up. I knocked it down. Say something real quick, Aaron.
God, man. Hey, it's a blessing when we get these lessons like this, that okay, it might not exactly be talking about something that's like, okay, do this or be saved. But it's good to understand and learn the history of your people and search out that of your forefathers. Okay. Grow in grace and in knowledge, right? And we know that the things written aforetime are written what? For our learning. Okay. So it's a good thing to be learned and understand why you believe what you believe. You know what I mean? And for those of you who, are into the history, are into proven with archaeological facts, I mean, this is an amazing find. I mean, I'm going to add this to my list of archaeology because, I mean, a lot of times, depending upon someone's background, they may need the extra biblical resources just to make the connection, because of the lies that they've been told. So whenever you can find something that you can easily point to history and archaeology, man, it's cool.
Yeah, that's right. And that just goes to show, like, it had to be going on. It's real. Like, if you had doubt, that was like a faith. Stuff like that is like a faith booster. Like, oh, wait a minute.
That's right.
That correlates perfect. And then to show how they were setting up fires in Jeremiah 6. Oh, that's what that means now. Now when I read, they were setting up standards, and they was like, you were reading, why are they setting up a fire? It's about to be destroyed. Are they going to burn the city? Why are you making a fire? Well, the fire was there's a watchman looking, and my bad. Hold on, we're talking at the same time. There's a watchman looking from afar, and he's trying to see if the city's there, and somebody got to come with a fire to show, okay, we good. They said they did not see the fire of that city. And they're waiting for Lachish. Right? Go ahead, Aharon.
No, and then I was gonna say, if anybody, if you need a visual, if you reference The Hobbit, it might have been like The Desolation of Smaug, one of the latter movies. But when Gandalf, he told not Frodo, he told one of those, Pippin. He told Pippin, hey, go up there and light the tower on fire, and they did it all the way to Gondor. It was like miles and miles and miles in which that they lit a fire on top of a mountain. So then far away they would see, oh wait, that fire's lit, let's light ours. And it traveled word all the way miles away to say, okay, you know what, we need some help because of this. You know, so just if you need a visual, that's a perfect one.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Right, that's really a huge discovery, man. Right, just proving that we really the Israelites, because a lot of people try to disprove the Israelites in general, and that's proven like wait a minute. That's definitely they're in history. That's real. Right. Go ahead,
I just had a quick precept to bring out on this point real quick. Just like Wills is going into, this is truly a faith booster, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, beginning at verse number 10. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So the Most High, he's speaking in a similitude. He's saying, yo, the same way that the rain, it hits the ground and it does not come back. Reading on to verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whitherto I sent it. So that's just going to say that the Most High, he said he was going to bind the chariot to the swift beast because of the sins of that city, and that he was going to destroy Israel and chastise us 7 times more for walking contrary to him, and that it surely came to pass.
That's right.
That's right.
According to the Bible prophecy, and now we're seeing through history and archaeology. And I yield on that point.
Right. So now, right, because that's it's more precepts we can get on it, obviously. It's all throughout Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Lamentation. Lamentation is talking about the destruction of Babylon. It's literally Jeremiah lamenting about Babylon, or Babylon destroying Israel. Right. That is who the destroyer of the Gentiles is. Right. In context, Jeremiah 4:7 is speaking of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. When it talks about the north, that's talking about Nebuchadnezzar. I think it's northwest of Israel, right? And then you have Assyria kind of more northeast of Israel. They next to each other though, Assyria and Babylon. But then you also have the prophecies of who, right? Babylon the Great.
Mm-hmm.
And what just happened on the 20th, the inauguration? And what is his speech? What is his whole thing? Trying to make America great again. Right? Even though that's like a correlation of words, sometimes the Most High put it right in your face. Right? And when you read Jeremiah in the correlations to land of the north, Babylon, how it correlates, right, to Babylon the Great. All the kings are going to drink of her. All the kings are going to love her wine and be drunk of her doctrine. All that correlates to this place because there is no place like America. They say they're the greatest nation on the planet and have history to actually back it up. Right? So now your correlation of why Babylon the Great is even referenced because Babylon was a great nation during the time of Jeremiah and those kings. Right? In a fierce and mighty nation to be feared, right? So you talk about Babylon the Great and its correlation, you got to read Jeremiah, you got to read Isaiah, you got to dive into these prophets, man. Right? A lot of times, brothers and sisters, we get caught up on trying to cut a doctrine and learn a doctrine, but you forget. Go to Ezekiel 3, I believe. You're getting to do this, man. Start at verse 1.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. Right. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then I did eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness.
Right, so you got to eat this whole roll, man. You got to die. You got to read the Bible. Give me Revelations 1 and 3. Right? Give me Revelations 1 and 3. You have to be reading as well. Right? Your goal for this year, I'm gonna tell y'all goal. Right? This ain't no damn New Year's resolution. This is just a goal of an Israelite if you haven't done it yet. Your goal should be to read the entire Bible. Make it this year. I'm gonna read the whole Bible. Every page, front to back of it, from Genesis to Revelation, if you have not done it yet. I'm gonna find a way. You gotta do it in sections. You're gonna go through prophets first. You may do it in order. You may find a biblical dating and try to do it in the order of the books, actually, right? From the dates, however you got to do it. But your goal should be wanting to read the entire Bible. You need to understand what your book is talking about. And then after you've done that, you could dive into deeper doctrines now. Right? But the brothers you see that's deep in the doctrines, I guarantee you a lot of these brothers have read this entire book. So they don't have to go back and focus on reading or something I've read that. Nah, you gotta read it. Because if you don't read it, guess what? You don't know. Somebody gonna bring up that point, you don't know it. Granted, you may forget it after you read it, but I read that. I might have forgot, but I did read it. Mm-hmm. Right? So you gotta eat the whole roll, as the scriptures say. Give me that in Revelation 1 and 3.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, beginning at verse 3.
That's right.
Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein.
Right. So
for the time is at hand.
Hey, the time is at hand, man. You got to be reading, especially brothers and sisters. You got kids, you got to read the Bible. Right? You got to be reading, man. The scriptures say, blessed is he that readeth. Right. My officer said, I'm in Romans right now, all praises. Right. But the scriptures say, blessed is he that readeth. All right, brothers, got any more points? And I think we proved that pretty thoroughly. We brought some history on it. Who is the destroyer of the Gentiles? It is a title that can refer to Christ. It can, but in the context of Jeremiah 4 and 7, that is specifically talking about Nebuchadnezzar coming from the north to destroy Israel, right, and all his counterparts, right? Everybody's got any precepts?
Wow, this was
the one.
Mic drop.
All praises. All right. So with that, we give all praise and glory and honor to you. How about Shem Mashiach Yahushua? We are the sons of Thunder Israelites. It is our heart's prayer and desire for Israel that they might be saved. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Shah Shabbat to everybody in the chat. Shalom.
Shalom.
Eat money. Yeah, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, keep me in the palm of your mighty hands. Father, don't let me fall. False excuses, know you heard them all. Could've ignored me, but you heard my call. And you refused to let your servant fall. You know that really keep on calling. Every now and then I get withdrawals. Man, they hit different when your sister center of it all. Have you forget about that time you violated laws? And you needed Abba to forgive you, he forgave it all. That's why I pray that you remember me for memories that made you smile and not the ones that made you judge the least. Father, I pray that when you raise up out that judgment seat, that you see it fit for me to reign with you above the beast. But at the least, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah, all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah. Even if I fall, I know he in charge. The great shepherd of the sheep, I know he hear my voice. He gave me life or death for real, I don't deserve a choice. Took all of those things that was against me, then he made it void. I said, yeah, I was shy. Follow me down these wicked roads, don't let that drama slide. Cause it's been written on them scrolls like when they prophesied. And it don't matter how it goes, you never left my side, even though I should've died. Why? But your grace is sufficient. Look how you took my wicked mind and then replaced what's missing. Look how you took my spirit blind and then you gave me vision. Even though I was out of line, I refused to listen. You gave me wisdom. That's why all of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah. All of my sins take away from me. Save me from myself, save a place for me. Help me keep your laws, keep them faithfully. And Father, even if I fall, make a way for me. Yeah.